guys, welcome to Retirement Adventure video number 4. I have taken a while before sending this video because I've been focusing on trying to find treasure. Actually, I got a message from Rob, one of my students, my martial arts students, saying, "Hi Sensei, I hope you're faring in, how are you faring in Bali? I see the odd post on Facebook and it looks like you're having a good trip. How's the treasure hunting going? Are you going to post another vlog on YouTube anytime soon?" Anyway, so I wrote back to Rob and I said to him, it's been very tough. I've been sick with a cough. I think I got a cough before I left South Africa. By the time I was on the plane flying to Bali, I had a runny nose and a bit of a cough and made all the passengers in the airplane a little bit scared of the coronavirus guy sitting sitting near them, and pretty much have been battling that cough and that runny nose for 3 weeks. It's really, today is the first time that I haven't been coughing and that my nose has started to clear up. And there was a period when I was on Gili Islands where I really got sick. My whole system was run down. The island was hit by a storm system, and there was thunder and lightning and high winds all day long. Everything was wet. Even when it wasn't raining, the humidity was so high that my hair was wet, my face was wet, my clothes were wet, my feet were wet, and I, battling this illness basically made it worse. I also got I think I got a spine from a sea urchin stuck in my foot and a couple of pieces of coral in my left foot, which then got infected and made it virtually impossible for me to walk. I was hobbling along, and then to make matters even worse, I hired a bicycle on Gili T and cycled around the island twice, which is only a 7K round trip around the island, although some of it's through sand, so I guess you could say 14 Ks, but in the heat of the day and sweating and being damp and wet, I got in the saddle, these bikes are not very well adjusted, and I'm used to a racing saddle, and this saddle chafed me on the inside of my groin area, and in those damp conditions it immediately got infected and turned into a huge boil. And so not only could I not walk, but I couldn't sit down, I couldn't cycle, but even through the pain I hobbled to the beach and managed to get into the sea and do some snorkeling, and but the visibility was not good, and the waves, tended to keep me out of the sea. And so, yeah, it's been a tough time. I told Rob about my hardships, and then he sent me back this message, which I found very encouraging. "Sounds like you're having to draw on your warrior reserves of resilience. Good thing though is that the entry barriers seem quite high, which I would imagine would minimize competition. Keep the vlogs coming, even when the shit factor is high. with your years of mental training and philosophical experience, you'll be able to teach your viewers a lot about grit, something you don't see much of these days, in these days of instant gratification. Your journey is not just about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's a retirement adventure. Adventures aren't just about the good times. Hang in there and hold the line. We're all rooting for you. And I really appreciate those encouraging words from Rob. Thank you, Rob. I really needed to hear that. So I had my final meal of nasi goreng and coconut juice and headed down to the beach for a final sunset before leaving the following morning in the early morning to go to the harbour to catch a fast boat to go to Lombok, and then from Lombok to the Gili Islands, where I had booked a stay on Gili T, which is short for Gili Trawangan. And so I enjoyed this final sunset in Bali and said goodbye to the black sand of Canggu. Here's the fast boat leaving Bali behind and heading for the Gili Islands. I was really hopeful that I would be able to find treasure in the white sands of the Gili Islands. Here is the crowd in the longboat, the fast boat. I met these two lovely guys, Rocky and Sean from California, and Rocky and I became very good friends. We immediately clicked, and they took me under their wing. Lovely couple of guys, really beautiful souls, and I'm so glad I met them. One of the interesting things about this trip is the lovely people that you meet along the way. Here we've just left Lombok, where they tested us all for the coronavirus, believe it or not. I passed, even though I was coughing and spluttering, and we headed for the smaller islands. This is Gili Air, where we dropped off some people and collected a couple of new ones, and then proceeded to head for Gili T. The whole trip took almost the entire day. At Gili T. Actually, the first day that I arrived was the best weather that we had the whole time that I was on Gili. I should have taken full advantage of that day, but I had no way of knowing that the weather wouldn't hold. As the boat docked, I immediately took note of the clear water, noticed there's hardly any swell, the visibility is quite good, and I had to wait for them to unload our suitcases and for us to grab our gear in the heat. Boy, it doesn't look very hot, but it was tremendously hot. It's always hot in Bali, and I headed out to find my accommodation. The accommodation was okay, was about 140 Rand a night, and I went from there to try and find the local market, which I did, where they sell lots of fresh food, and it's like a food court where the locals eat. I ordered myself a nasi campur, which is a rice-based meal with a lot of side dishes. The whole meal cost basically less than 30 Rand. Here's my nasi campur. The following morning I had dragon fruit for breakfast, the first time I've ever eaten it, and proceeded to hire a bicycle for about 30 Rand a day, 30,000 IDR, and cycled to the far end of the island to go and check out what the other side of the island looked like. I did a bit of snorkeling, hoping to find stuff, but just found bottle tops and old iron, using the pulse dive, because my macro cruiser didn't work in the water. It only worked on the beach. The beaches, as you can see, the whole island is somewhat of a working harbor, and the sea is full of old iron, and the beaches are full of bottle tops and pull tabs. And so, yeah, although I found lots of coins, I didn't find anything of value. Perhaps the most valuable thing I found was the beauty of the place, the sunsets, the friendships I made with people like Rocky and Sean, and gained a lot of experience. My experience is working with coral, which is quite different to normal sand. And ultimately, when I encountered so much bad weather for such an extended period of time, I decided I was wasting time and wanted to head back to the main island of Bali and leave Gili T behind. Gili T is a bit of a party island, but there we go. Okay, there are two items that I think are absolutely essential to traveling in the tropics because of the constant rain. It rains every day, and sometimes it rains all day. And when it's not raining, there's very, very high humidity. And so if you do have a camera that's not waterproof, my iPhone is supposed to be waterproof, but it's really water resistant, and that's with fresh water, not salt water, and it's protected by rubber O-rings, and those O-rings deteriorate over time. So I felt it safer because my iPhone was completely essential to my travels to buy a waterproof bag. And so here's the waterproof bag that I bought in South Africa, and that was very useful to begin with. But there's a lot of other equipment that you want to keep dry. Everything from your passport to your money and that type of thing, and power packs. I have a little power pack over here, which you don't want this kind of thing to get wet. Your earphones, and so I bought myself this ocean pack. I saw quite a few other travelers had them. They sell them in Indonesia. It's this is a 3-liter one. You can buy them up to 10 liters, I guess, but this was only 110 rand. Yeah, 110,000 IDR, and 3 liters actually fits quite a lot of stuff in. So I found this to be my most useful bit of equipment, because I can stick all the stuff I need to carry on the scooter, for example, or on the bicycle, and hang it around my neck and go for a ride. And if it starts to rain, I stop and I put on my poncho, and I don't have to worry about my camera or any of my equipment getting wet. So this was a real blessing. Heading back to Bali, you can see the residue of the bad weather that we're leaving behind. Having done a successful recce of the Gili Islands, albeit disappointing that I didn't find any gold or anything of value. It's with hope and belief that the final bit of my trip to Bali will be profitable, and I'm heading to an area called Kuta, which is quite central, and it's close to Denpasar Airport, close to Uluwatu, and close to Sanur, which are all areas that I want to detect around. So wish me luck, thank you for watching, and hold thumbs.